1822, back with another AEW Dynamite review. This is Maximum Carnage featuring the main event match for the World Heavyweight Championship, MJF versus Bandido. If you want to know how I felt overall about this show, please stay tuned in the review for my final overall thoughts on Dynamite. So, I did like the fact that Samoa Joe hired Brian Keith, the bounty hunter, to take out Hangman Page. Please, let's do something with the bounty hunter. Make it make sense utilizing this bounty hunter gimmick. And I will get to that match eventually. So the first match tonight is Pat versus Darby Allin. And we all know about the history between Darby Allin and Pat. They always have good matches. He is trying to end this rivalry with the Death Rider. But will this end it right here? We just will see. But the match, I really enjoyed it. I always enjoy watching these two in the ring. It did not start inside the ring because Darby Allin wanted to get to action right from the jump. They went through the crowd. It was a little dark in the arena. Kind of reminded me of Alien vs. Predator 2 if you watch that movie right there, so you'll know what I'm talking about. But man, Darby Allin is a madman. He took a belly-to-belly suplex from Pat onto the steel steps. You don't got to do that, Darby Allin, but thank you so much for entertaining me. Pat gave this man a powerbomb over the top ropes onto the ramp. And Darby Allin hit a successful coffin drop on the ring apron. So good to see him finally accomplish his mission. So, Willa Yuta did get involved, brought a steel chair in the ring. It backfired while also having a rev bump. And Pat was selling his ankle. So what Darby Allin decided to do, I'm going to take this chair, put it between your ankle, and he gave him a coffin drop. Darby Allin defeats Pat with a scorpion deathlock. Now, I'm not sure, is this the ending of Darby Allin with the Death Riders? Because this match did not say this rivalry is over. Because if you think about it, let's talk about Claudio. Claudio, he was tearing Darby Allin ass up last year in 2025. I would like to see Claudio and Darby Allin in a feud. But who knows? A lot of people might say, let's end this Darby Allin and Death Riders angle. Where else can you go? And I totally agree. But let's not forget about all that stuff when he was tossing his ass around into the announce table. But we just got to see for the next couple weeks on AEW Dynamite. Is he still going to feud Death Riders, or is he going to do something else like, hey, I want to be the AEW World Heavyweight Champion? So we have Brian Keith and Hangman Page. The match, it was okay. Big Bill was ringside, of course, got involved. Swerve came out. Hangman gets the victory. So both guys get on a microphone and they talking about, they want to be the world champion. They coming after MJF. And I said this last week on my review. I'm not a fan of the dynamic between Hangman and Swerve, only because AEW done a poor job of explaining why these two guys are all of a sudden cool with each other. And I need more than just what he did at AEW All in Texas. But eventually, these guys will split apart, and then it will be more of who wants to be the world champion. Because this partnership cannot last long since both guys have their own personal goals to become the AEW World Heavyweight Champion. Then Kenny Omega comes out, and Kenny Omega wants to be the AEW World Champion. And I love the fact that we got 3 former world champions in this segment, and they're all gunning for MJF. He's the number 1 target in AEW. Great way AEW to build up these future programs right here. And I did notice Swerve in the back not liking him being out there. So we can get Swerve versus Omega, Swerve versus Hangman, and Hangman versus Omega. And we all know about their historic rivalry in AEW. Most likely this will be a triple threat match. And oh my God, talk about one of the greatest triple threat matches on paper. How good can this match be? It can be awesome, and I cannot wait for it. Most likely, next month episode on Dynamite, no contendership, Kenny Omega, Swerve, Hangman, the winner will face MJF at AEW Revolution. Please give it to me, Tony Khan. And of course, the Don Callis family comes out anytime Kenny Omega is inside a ring. This has been the longest running feud in AEW history, but I'm actually a fan of the Don Callis family feuding with Kenny Omega, and I finally got what I've been asking for the longest time. Next week on Dynamite, since Kenny Omega needs to get some wins, since he wants to face MJF for the World Heavyweight Championship, and Don Callis said he will take on the Walker Weapon, Josh Alexander, versus Kenny Omega. I remember when they was teaching this in TNA wrestling when Omega was the TNA World Heavyweight Champion, and I cannot wait for this match. So Brody King and MJF, translator from last week, had this backstage segment. Brody King said whoever win this match, he want to face him for the championship. Then it ended up being a squash match. I really could have dealt without this right here. I just wish they did something like some pre-recorded segments with Bandido and MJF talking about the main event match. I am a fan of Brody King, but you could have done something much better with this time right here. You could have just done that same thing with Brody King, just keep it in the backstage segment, and it was no need for this to be a match, even though it was fast and he's moved on to the next stuff, but it really should have just been some backstage stuff. So we have a 4-way tag team match, and the winners will face the tag team champions, FTR. David and David sound like a law firm to me. Jet Speed, Gates of Agony, Young Bucks. This was a fun 4-way tag team match right here. And by my surprise, Jake Doyle and Mark Davis, the heel tag team, got the win in this match because FTR are heels also. So I'm really intrigued to see how the crowd will react to two heel tag teams in that tag team title. And they did have a brawl. Jake something, I got he used to call him Jake Doyle. I prefer Jake something over Jake Doyle, either I know that is his real last name. But why he didn't stay with Jake Doyle? But I'm glad Tony Khan did put over him in his first night on AEW television. I'm not sure the match next week, but most likely it will be next week. And also, I'm happy that the Radicals are all Elite Hour fan of the Radicals in TNA. I believe they can be trio champion, also tag team champion. So I'm glad Tony Khan got all four guys. And I did like the fact that the crowd in Phoenix did pop for seeing the image on the screen. Sisters of Madness versus Willow Nightingale, Harley Cameron, and Chris Statler. This was a solid match right here. And by my surprise, Chris Statler, the champion, took the pinfall from Tekla, which means they're going to do a match between Tekla and Chris Statler. And I have no problem with that right there. Tekla really grew on me once she got to AEW, and I am looking forward to that match right here. I'm not sure it's going to take place at Revolution, but we will see. And I love the fact that Swerve put over Kevin Knight. Speaking of Kevin Knight, I did met him at an AEW show. That was awesome. Hangman said, he wants to take the trio championships from the Ops. So on Collision, Just Be Hangman versus the Ops. But I wish this match was actually taking place on Dynamite, where you have more eyeballs on the product. So Tony Khan, I think you made a mistake right here. I understand Collision is your second show, but it's not as watched as Dynamite. So I hope that if there's no title change, then they just have a rematch on Dynamite or Revolution. Now let's talk about the main event. AEW World Title match, MJF versus Bandido. This was the match of the night, of course. MJF, I'm so happy he is the world champion. Because with MJF, the world champion, it's just better TV for AEW. I love Hangman Page, but he was not a great world champion as the babyface. It's hard to follow up those tremendous storylines when the babyface chased the hill. Bandido, this guy is a future AEW World Heavyweight Champion. I really love this ending of this match because you got Bryan Danielson on commentary and MJF won with a label lock. That was a surprising ending to me. Still your World Heavyweight Champion, MJF. And MJF got like character because he said, Bandido, when people said you are a future AEW World Champion, I laughed. But after tonight's match, you are a future AEW World Champion. But then MJF went back to being MJF. Brody King come out to make the save, and we all know what this means for Brody King. He's going to turn on Bandido, and he will get an ROH Championship match against Bandido. So the episode of Dynamite, I did like this one. We got some new stuff going on for the start of 2026. So Tony Khan, you are 2 for 2 to start off the new year with AEW Dynamite. If you watch AEW Dynamite and me, give me your thoughts on the show. Negative, positive, I will respond to everybody in the comment section per usual. Hit the like button on this video. As always, don't forget, hit the subscribe button. I'm out. Peace.